This one's for all of you out there who play that game, Never Have I Ever. The window in the wall. Written by Winter Voth, co-authored by Scott Parker. Copyright 2017 by Scott Parker, brought to you by A Monkey's Tea Party. Be it told by I or the teller of tales, the story, all names, mere characters and incidents portrayed in this retelling are fictitious. Any similarity to mirror characters of the seen or unseen is unrelated to the body of work, and by no means intentional. No identification with actual persons, living or dead, is intended, or should be inferred. If you wish to banish conceit evermore, laurel the grounds of the deceased with empty offerings. If you were one and I were one, we'd make two. But if you were I and I were you, would we be one or two? One. With the color red near your blood blob, it would be best if you turned to page 37. Now, it's about time. A mirror land of possibility awaits you, although it too could be one of many traps. Never have I learned of something to prove or disprove this assertion, and yet, as the end is the beginning appears to be the end. Quite confusing, and even more frustrating. As time goes by and life makes less and less sense, assuming it ever made any sense to begin with. Now that's debatable. It states, a bridge of moments leading from one to the next, greater than we might think, and just as bizarre to consider. But they complement this place as much as we do. And without them, right would be left and up would be down. Reason would have no rhyme. What may have been perceived as the beginning determines how many paces it would take to reach this particular destination. From here, it's anyone's best guess how or why the ending is the beginning, as well as the other way around. Where I end, I stop what I was saying to ask, why do I know any of this? After pausing momentarily, I inquire, far louder than I otherwise would have. Quite slowly I repeat, do I know this because you do? The unnatural recounter answers, with such power, you could precede your own creation, and be not as you are, but as you will become, which influences a time prior to said moment. Instinctually I groan. How is that an answer? What if, it says, you don't experience death? Pain, yes, but death may be but a channel. And when your light releases one form, instantaneously it becomes conscious of another. Unconvinced, I squeal. How could that take place? Coarsely it croaks, with the assistance of her lamp. Faintly I gasp. My chambered blood blob? It responds, that may well be. Not a moment longer, it avows. Lay thought on your lamp, but understand its untruth is plain to all. 2 and 3. With the color orange and yellow near your blood blob, continue straight ahead. Hurry it up, Buster. 4. With the color green near your blood blob, turn to page 56. No dilly-dallying. These were the thoughts of my blood blob as its voice began to speak. And yet, as sound carried over an otherwise mild breeze, each unfathomable statement seemed to drop like a stone to the ground. My mirror counterpart does nothing, says nothing, and just may be nothing. The image of a sea lying on its back, impaled on a single stick, leapt into my mind, making me think of the letter I with wings. Then the sea began to swell into a bowl, and just above it, to either side of its dimensions, appeared one of two cubes. Quite suddenly, it comes to me. Instantly, I picture Mirror Me clasping it as I might, only upside down. Quietly, I state, let's say I attend this propeller party with you, and I'm holding a glass of wine so amazing it tastes of the gods' good. This ambrosia-like elixir holds a secret many seek but never reach. The vineyard is called ABA, although it has a nickname, Pair of Dice, well known for leaving messages on their bottles. But that's all for show. Truthfully, it's in the wording. A die has 6 sides, 3 sevens on the side facing you, and 3 on the one you can't see. Imagine the wine at the bottom of the glass being separated by its stem. To either side equals 21, and the surface of this better-than-fine beverage just might reflect the greatest possibilities pair of dice has to offer. On the surface, each pair of dice could potentially add up to 36. So below its sweet nectar could represent 42. And when you first taste this jewel of wines, it could represent 72, a perfect balance. Which is no surprise why the vineyard is named ABA. I sigh, the wish fulfilled. The ethereal teller of tales queries, might you have discovered the beginning, also revealing the end? 5. With the color blue near your blood blob, if I were you, I'd turn to page 45. For what has felt like a lifetime, I've been pondering something. I could travel one of 7 paths, but I've been too focused on the 6 that are seen, while the 7th, which is unseen, has nearly been forgotten. My blood blob begins to flutter just as I notice something. A smudge of soot on my hand rubs off on my forehead, and the fact I can't seem to swipe it away really irks me. There's a moment of quiet. I remark, this took on a new color. 6 directions of light and shadow, it asserts, up, down, and each of the 4 breaths, as well as within the mirror river. Calmly, the preternatural recounter states, do as you wish in love, and bring harm to none. While I puzzle for a time, it slowly creaks. Each of the duchies stand apart, as although amenity dictates their designation. I know many words, a great deal about foreign places, and I've read numerous books. However, its statement was lost on me. Quietly I ask, might you explain further? After so long it replies, I care not. With that, there's silence. Very slowly I question, what are the unseen? It responds, they've cradled both the 5 and the 4. But I begin to murmur, how could that change? The unseen forever moves towards bridging the seen, says the teller of tales. I can't understand any of this, I say, moments before pausing to reaffirm, really I can't. You, same as I, know of east, west, north, south, up, down, and within, 6 of which are seen, 1 of which is not. At the appointed time, when the 7th is fulfilled, 5 additional directions will be realized. 12 altogether, I inquire? It answers, at the appointed time, a second within shall be expressed without. That would make 8, seen, and 4, it interrupts, unseen. 8 around 2. Natalie, I say, if the 6 controls the 7th, you might as well say goodbye to imagination. But if you magpie yourself away with the 7th, just like that, smudge of soot, any of the 6 that stand in your way won't stand a chance against what you carry with you. And if I'm to believe 8 could somehow trump this in some way, well... Chillingly, it asks, find your way? After so long, I reply, from where I stand, there are 7 colored ribbons at my feet, and 3 paths such as this. But my blood blob tells me that there are 3 more I wish to reach, but I cannot see. The teller of tales queries, might a Triskidalian be no different than an Anatakarana? Taking a deep breath, I ask, how do you mean? It rejoins, do you speak of dream catchers and charms? Are either of those any different, I ask. It answers, suppose not. As if someone's moving my mouth, I begin to speak. The seen and unseen mustn't be overlooked. Say we have an orb and a cube, which lead to the apex of a pyramid. We can count the paths together. 3 seen sets of 7, and 3 that are unseen, making a total of 42 paths that must be traveled. Big T, little y, and the serpent's eye. I recite as although I had no will of my own. Lightheartedly I chortle, my poor mind is unraveling. It comments, you seem to forget a lot of things, don't you? Quietly I retort, have you ever wondered what purpose I might serve, not remembering? Have you ever remembered what purpose it might serve, not remembering? Soundly, it responds, this ensures no fault in one's actions. Ah, yes, I state, I remember now. If you look around, it's one of few locations the divine blanket touches. This manor is a conduit, precious in every way and easily overlooked. Several seconds pass before I go on. Light does funny things here, which is just how House Voth works, I suppose. It remarks, errors of will. Hastily I retort, tell me. Sounds more like a lie agreed upon. Without delay it carries on unfazed. Tell me of casting 9s. I murmur. Let me see here. Say you take 2 bow ties to contrast them. I sharply squeak. One is much brighter than the other, and you're going to have to wear one horizontally, and the other vertically, to the shindig. Starting with the bright horizontal one, but remember where it knots. You'll have to skip 2 numbers because you won't be able to see them. The way it goes, if the top left corner is 1, down to the bottom is 2. In the middle we skip 3, but count 4, then 5, skip 6. Then up to the right corner we count 7, then down to the bottom right where we have 8. Then we do the same with the less colorful vertical bow tie, because this is a propeller party you're attending. The truly astounding thing is, if you remember that we skipped 3 and 6, but counted 4 and 5, 4 and 5 mean that 9 is in the middle of each of the bow ties. And if you go out of your way to count all of them up, the inside comes to 72, and the outside comes to 72. If you really give it some thought, you soon realize that they all form a cube and a diamond, 2 squares. As if one square was squared by the other, but they still look like a propeller enough not to be asked to leave the propeller party. Snidely it remarks, this is a piece of their puzzle. Only if you add up both of the 72s. I chortle, sure moments before gasping, are you... Digressing, I continue, are you making me say such things? While I picture it staring, my mouth begins to speak. 6 around 7. Add another 6 to make 13. Then add yet another 6 to come to 19. You'll never understand the wall if you don't address the window first. To be continued, readers.